What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the TCO Fantasy Football Show. Whoop! Ladies and gentlemen, today is our Combine episode. Not really our Combine episode. We're basically just going to be adjusting our rookie rankings. And it is Monday, March 14th at 2:14 p.m. We are in the thick of free agency right now. And I'm going to probably end up making an episode about it later in the week because so much stuff is happening. People are going to get traded. People are going to keep getting signed. And it's going to keep on happening. So I'd rather do it all at one time. And so I'll probably have an episode out about that on Friday. But for today, we're doing the Combine episode. And let's get into it. Okay, so starting off with my 101, it's not changing. It's Breece Hall. He looked absolutely amazing at the Combine. I think the Combine really helped his draft stock, to be quite honest. And he was the sixth fastest running back with a 4.39. He looked elusive in the drills. And he actually had the best vert at 40 inches. And it helped his draft stock. I think he's going to be the first running back off the board. And I don't think we're crazy for saying that. It's either him or Kenneth Walker. And I think it's going to be Breece Hall. So he is my 101 at the moment. So my 102 is my first big change in my rankings. The guy is up 2 spots from my past rankings, and it's a wide receiver. Yes, we are moving a wide receiver up to the 102. It's pretty crazy. Guess who it is? It's Garrett Wilson. And Garrett Wilson looked absolutely incredible at the Combine. Ran a 4.38, and he looked great. He looked like the best wide receiver in this class by a long shot. And the only thing we have to worry about is this game transferring over to the NFL. That's it. If his talent transfers from college to the NFL, we have a great wide receiver here. We could have a top 5 guy. Possibly. Garrett Wilson has the capability of being a top 5 guy in the right situation. And I think the biggest reason on why I moved him up to 102 was because Calvin Ridley got suspended for the next upcoming season. And I'm really thinking the Falcons are going to take Garrett Wilson at 108. I'm so convinced in my head that that's going to happen. I don't know why, but I feel like it's just something that yells the Atlanta Falcons. And that's the biggest reason he's up to my 102. And the only problem I had with him from the Combine was that he does this weird thing where he jumps every time he catches like a pass running in a line. It's so weird. He goes like that when he jumps the ball, when he catches the ball, and it's the weirdest thing. And it's not a really big issue, but it doesn't quite look right. And if he did that in the NFL, he's going to get rocked. One of these big linebackers is going to come out there and drop a shoulder and hit him. And that was the only issue. Besides that, he looked amazing, and he is my 102. My 103 is not changing. It is staying the same. It's Treylon Burks. And Treylon Burks had a really underwhelming Combine. It's actually very upsetting because he didn't look great. He looked very, very underdeveloped, to be honest. And he ran a 4.55. That was the most upsetting part of my whole entire day watching the Combine. Because I thought Treylon was going to come out there and run a 4.38 like Garrett Wilson. But he ran a 4.55. Not even a 4.45, a 4.55, which is kind of slow. It's a tad bit slow for his height and for his build, it's not slow at all, but it's slower than what we thought he was going to run, and that upsets me a little bit because that's going to ruin his draft stock a little bit. But besides that, he was catching balls, he looked good, ran good routes, everything was there, he just needs a little bit of time to develop in the NFL, I guess. And I'm perfectly fine with taking him at 103. I feel like you're getting great value there. Him and Garrett Wilson are just about equal, depending on the situation they end up in, is what's going to determine who is better than the other. But I really like him, and he is my 103. So my 104 is somebody who jumped up significantly in my rankings. He's up 3 spots from where he was before. It's Kenneth Walker III, and I thought he looked absolutely amazing at the Combine. He came out there, he was the 4th fastest running back, running a 4.38. He looked great in the drills, and the biggest thing out of everything, he helped his draft stock. And that's all I could ask from a running back in the draft, is to help his draft stock. I think now he's solidified himself as arguably the first or second best running back in this class. Him and Breece Hall are right there next to each other competing for it. And if he gets into a good situation we could make the argument for taking him at the 101 if he gets into a better situation than Breece Hall. I think he looked amazing, and that is why I moved him up 3 spots because of that. And I'm really excited for him, and he is my 104. My 105 is another guy I am not changing in my rankings. It is Drake London. And he didn't participate in the Combine, which really sucks, but he is going to have his pro day someday in the next 2 weeks, which is going to be really interesting to see because he's coming off an ankle injury, and we're going to get to see whether or not he's what everybody's talking about. And I don't think he hurt his draft stock. I don't think he helped his draft stock. I think he's in the same place. I think he's going to go at the middle of the first round, and that's where he's going. That's where he deserves to go, and the production doesn't lie. That is what everybody is saying. The numbers and production don't lie, and so Drake London is staying my 105 because of that. So my 106 is one of the biggest movers in my rankings. He is down 4 whole spots. It's Isaiah Spiller. And I think the fact that he didn't participate in the 40 really hurt him because the 40 solidified Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker as the 2 best backs in this class, and so did the rest of the drills. And Isaiah Spiller sat out of the 40, he sat out of a lot of drills, and it doesn't help him. It doesn't help him at all. It makes him look like the 3rd best running back in this draft class, which isn't horrible. He can still get into a great situation and be wonderful, but it's definitely going to hurt his draft stock a little bit, the fact that he didn't participate in a lot of these drills. And that's the biggest reason I moved him down to 106, because he still has the talent to be the 101 or the 102. But hurting his draft stock hurts him, and that is why I had to move him down to the 106. My 107 is one guy I am super duper excited for. The Combine got me really excited for him. I wasn't excited at all about him before. I was actually really down on him. It's Chris Alave. Chris Alave is up 3 spots in my rankings. He looked amazing. Came out and ran a 4.26. Just kidding. He didn't actually run a 4.26. He ran a 4.39. I don't know how you mess up 0.13 of a second. I don't even know how that's possible. But nonetheless, 4.39 still good. He's just as fast as Garrett Wilson. And he looked great in the drills. He looked great. He looked wonderful. I think he helped his draft stock the most out of anybody in this whole entire Combine. Just because I know he didn't really run a 4.26, but he got the hype of running a 4.26. And I think that's going to help his draft stock a lot. I think we might see him. I think he was before on like the borderline, like being an early second or an early second or a late first. But now I feel like he moved up a little bit. I feel like he could go at like 20, maybe even a little lower, like 15, somewhere around there. Maybe the Eagles, Patriots, Raiders, all good places for him to end up. And so he is somebody I'm really excited for at 107. So my 108 is somebody who moved down in my rankings, but not really. The guy's down 2 spots. It's Jameson Williams, and he only moved down because he didn't participate. There were 2 guys, Chris Alave and Kenneth Walker, who were behind him before, and I had to move them up because they look good. That's the only reason I had to move them up. Jameson Williams is still a great wide receiver. He could end up being the best wide receiver out of this class in 2 years from now, and I still love him. And there's not much more to say about him. Apparently his ACL recovery is going really well, which is great for us. And if he falls a little bit in the draft and goes to a better team because he fell a little bit, wonderful. Wonderful, perfect, wonderful. And so, Jameson Williams is my 108 now. So my 109 is another big riser in my rankings. He's up 3 whole spots. It's Johan Dotson. And I wasn't expecting him to look this good. I wasn't expecting him to look this good at all. He comes out and runs a 4.43. Not the fastest wide receiver, but he looked great in the drills. This guy was running amazing routes, and he's got great hands. I was not expecting him to look this good. You want to know what I was expecting? I was expecting David Bell to look more like Johan Dotson, and somehow I got the complete opposite of the 2 of them. And Johan Dotson really helped his draft stock. I think he solidified himself as not a top guy in this draft of wide receivers, but definitely the top of the next tier. And if he ends up in a right situation, going in the back of the first round, probably the early second, works out good for him. And I like him. I thought he looked really, really, really good out there. And so he is my 109. My 110 is somebody who wasn't even on this list before, and now they're here. It is a running back. It is Rashad White. I haven't talked to you guys about this guy at all. He's from Arizona State. He is a 6'2", 210-pound running back. This past season, he had 182 attempts, 1,006 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 5.5 yards per carry. And in the combine, he ran a 4.48. He was the third best running back in the vertical with a 38 inches, and he looked good. In the drills, he looked really shifty, good footwork. I was very excited when I saw him, and I found it very interesting. And so, he is now my 110, a newbie 110. My 111 is another guy who was not on this list before. He's somebody who has been rising through the draft boards. He's a big wide receiver. It's Christian Watson. He is a 6'5", 208-pound receiver from North Dakota State. I haven't told you guys anything about him at all. He's had 43 catches, 800 yards, and 7 touchdowns, 18.6 yards per catch this past season. And he looks good. He looks good. He comes out in the combine and runs a 4.36 at 6'5". This is what we were expecting Drake London to be. This is what we were expecting Treylon Burks to be. And I have him as my 111 and could move him up. I could easily move him up. The only issue is that we're just now hearing about him. He was really good at the Senior Bowl as well, but we're just now hearing about him. He looked really good, though, nonetheless. I feel like he's a late-round Drake London. That's going to be my comparison for him. And I don't know. This guy could get into a good situation. Like, I feel like he reminds me a lot of Kelvin Benjamin from way back in the day on the Panthers. Or Panthers, Bills? I think it was the Panthers. I think it was the Panthers with Cam Newton back in the day. And I feel like that's the type of build he reminds me of. A fast, really tall guy who could go up and get the ball. And I like him. I like him a lot. And that is why he is my 111. My 112 is somebody who really upset me. It's somebody who moved down 4 spots in my rankings. It's a wide receiver. It's David Bell. And it's really sad because David Bell was somebody I was very, very high on in this draft. I traded to get him, and he just doesn't look great. He didn't look great at the combine. He caught plenty of passes, and he looked fine, but he was just so slow. He ran a 4.65, and that is slow. And that is going to hurt his draft stock significantly. And it's sad. It's sad because I still think he's going to be a great wide receiver, but he really hurt his draft stock, so he's going to get into a worse situation, and he might not get the opportunity to become the guy. But if he does get into the right opportunity, and he does get to become that guy, I'm still very excited for him. And if you could snag him at 112, you got a steal. And that about wraps it up for my new rookie rankings 1 through 12. Let me know in the comments if you guys want to see me do like a sleeper episode with these rookies, because I got some sleepers, some guys I really liked in the combine. And if you want to know that, just drop it down in the comments. Let me know. And listen, people, we got content coming out left and right over these next couple weeks. We're going to have on Friday, we're going to have a free agency episode where I tell you who went where, who did what, who signed who, and what it means for fantasy football. And if you want to know immediately what it means for fantasy football, follow my TikTok. I did not know it was going to be this easy to make TikToks at all. They're pretty darn interesting. And whenever Adam Schefter posts something, I post my opinion about it almost immediately. And so go check that out. It's really interesting. See you, TikTok. And if you want to check us out on Instagram, you can check us out there too. That's where you can know if we got a new video out or something, or that's basically it. That's all I really tell you guys on there is if I have a new video out. But it's a good place to know I got a new video out. And that is about it. Thank you guys for watching. And please like and subscribe. We need those subscribers. Go drop some TCO bombs. And that is about all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching the TCO Fantasy Football Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody.